Good afternoon, fellow orchid lovers. It's Danielle here with a brief update and some new babies that I'd like to introduce you to. Just two orchids that there's some pretty significant things going on that I'm rather excited about, so I thought I'd share. The first is this orchid. This is a Phalaenopsis. As you can see, I've had this orchid. June will be 2 years. And if you've been following me from the beginning, you'll know that having an orchid that is getting a spike independently of a nursery, for me, is like amazing. Up until I started waterculture a year ago, I was a orchid murderer. So I am over the moon about the fact that not only did I save this orchid from sure and certain death, I also have gotten the orchid to rebloom. So that flower spike is growing every day. Orchid has a lot of really nice new roots. And just a few weeks ago, maybe 2 months tops, it was in that state. Same exact thing. The leaves went wrinkly and leathery and drooped, and it had no roots. And now look at it. Healthy, happy, tons of roots, nice fleshy leaves, and the spike is growing. So to say I'm excited about that is kind of an understatement. I'm trying to hold myself in here. Doing a happy dance in my mind. My other orchid that I am pretty pleased with is actually my Dendrobium. I know very little about Dendrobiums. I'm trying to educate myself. This is actually a species. I'll show you the tag. So it's a deciduous Dendrobium. I got it right at the start of winter, like October, November sometime. So I was concerned that I didn't know enough about it to bring it through the season appropriately. I updated you a little while ago that it was getting some little nubs that I thought might turn into flowers. They haven't really progressed past that. As you can see, they're still kind of tiny. And I don't know if that's just normal and it's waiting for a certain temperature or whatever the case may be, but I have started watering this plant regardless because it's getting some new growths, and I don't want the new growths to stall or be unhealthy because I'm trying to get flowers. I would really rather keep the plant healthy and work on flowers maybe next year. So I'm not overwatering it as far as I know. I put it in water the other day. I let it sit for 24 hours and then I lowered the level so that the roots were barely touching it. So I have a new growth there, and then I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there's another new growth at the base of that cane. You can kind of see it there. Well, I can see it because I know where to look, but yeah. So we'll see if those nubs turn into anything, but I'm really excited that I have new growths. So I didn't kill it. Which is what I was really afraid of. So that's good. So I'm excited about that. So that's my Dendrobium, my recovering phal, and my recovered phal. And then I have 3 new Phalaenopsis. And I know a couple months ago I stated that I wasn't going to buy Phalaenopsis orchids from the grocery store anymore because, you know, every time I get them from the grocery store, they're pretty much dying. But I decided these were on sale. Usually the orchids in my grocery store are anywhere from $15 to $20, which I won't spend that amount of money on them because I have to rescue them. But these were on sale for $10 each. And then this one, because the spike was dead, it was on sale for $3.99. So I said, well, I'll take that one. So I brought it home, cut off the old spike, did a little inspection. The bottom 2 leaves were turning yellow and they have since fallen off. I've had this a couple days. The root system seems pretty healthy. Everything seems pretty firm, but like I've mentioned, I'm really limiting how much water I'm exposing the roots to because I don't want the roots, if they are unhealthy, to start rotting before the orchid can recover. I don't know what this orchid has been put through. I know at the particular store that I go to, they do in fact put ice in their orchids. So I'm not really sure, you know, as far as health is concerned, where this orchid is at. So I'm just going to limit my water exposure. So every couple of days, I just kind of rinse the roots a little bit. just to bring them green. And then I put the tiniest little bit of water in the bottom. And, you know, every 2 or 3 days, the water's gone and the roots start to go silvery and I do it again. But I mean, very, very minimal amounts of water, just because I want her to have a chance to recover from whatever she's been put through. Funny enough story, she has the beginnings of another spike right in there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to, do you see that right there, that little bump that looks pink? Now, it doesn't look like the healthiest nub I've ever seen, so it may be that that's never going to progress, but she did try. So we'll just keep our eye on it and see if it turns into anything. Like I said, the flower spike was dead on this when I got it, but it looks like it had like a burgundy flower with a white lip. So that's going to be pretty interesting when that reblooms. This one I got because of Anna, because she has a beautiful white phal with like a pink and purple lip. And I just loved her orchid. So I went into the store and I saw this and it was on sale and I said, okay. My second white phal, just beautiful when it has like this contrasting lip. Some of these have cold damage because it was a very windy, cold day when I purchased this. So they're very limp and I'm probably going to lose a couple of them, but that's okay. She'll bloom again. Actually, she also, she had terrible roots. Pretty much most of them just kind of fell off of her as I was taking her out of the pot. So she's been through the ringer. I took whatever velamin I could off, and then I left whatever roots seemed sort of healthy. And I do the same thing with her. Every couple of days, I just kind of rinse these and get them green. And I put like, you can barely see the water in there. Like I put hardly any water in there. So she's getting some hydration and some humidity, but she's not being exposed to a lot of water because I don't want her roots to rot. So, sorry, I kind of took you out of the way there. There is a flower spike starting in there too. Can you see that? It's kind of sticking out right there. I know it's hard to see, but she's kind of precariously perched in this pot, so I don't really want to take her out and show you, but it's right there. So we'll watch that too and see if that progresses into anything. But I think she's just beautiful. It's so funny too, because when I first started growing orchids, the white orchids didn't really appeal to me, but they have such amazing white orchids now that aren't just plain white. I mean, you can see there's green, there's pink, there's purple, there's yellow. They're just beautiful. And the lip is like fluorescent almost, which I could just stare at for hours, but I don't have that kind of time. And the final one is this orchid. Again, root system seems pretty healthy. I'm not offering a whole lot of water because I want to see what those roots are going to do for me. She had a second spike that got like destroyed somehow. You can see right there. It kind of got shredded. But the spike that she currently has looks pretty healthy. The flowers are really like closely bunched together and kind of overlapping and a little wonky. So I'm not really sure how that happened, but she has quite a few buds to come. And the mitten does look healthy, so she could continue to extend. It's a really pretty color. It's almost like orangey. You're seeing it, I think, more like a pink and a purple, but it's actually kind of got like an orange overtone to it, which, you know, I haven't really seen a Phalaenopsis this color before, so I had to grab it. And then she has a side branch here, as you can see, extending off. So those are my new babies. We'll see how they cross over to water culture. You know, like I've said before, sometimes you get an orchid and, you know, you don't really know how it's been handled. And by the time you get it home and you assess the orchid, and unfortunately it now becomes a rescue mission. But I'm not afraid of that anymore with my orchids. They are amazing, amazing plants. They can bounce back from some pretty bad setbacks. I mean, look at this orchid over here. You know, lost all of her roots, and yet I was able to save her, no roots, for months and months and months. Then this happened, and I thought she was a goner. but she was just pulling her energy from her leaves to push out roots. And then she pushed out all these new roots, and she's going to bloom for me. So your orchids have the capability to be put through some pretty tough stuff and make it through. Don't give up on them. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this update. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any suggestions as far as, you know, videos that you guys are interested in, I am more than open to those suggestions. So please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing well, and I will talk to you next time.